Welcome to Foundation Friday. The dedication and covenant of silent unity was signed on December 7th, 1892 by Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, founders of the Unity movement. It is unlikely when they signed this covenant that they had any idea how far-reaching unity would be as it evolved into the church we know and love today. We invite you to join us as we explore and share some of the original ideas, teachings, and writings of the men and women who created the foundation of the Unity Church.
Hi there. Thank you for joining us today for our Foundation Friday program. Today we are going back in time to the teachings of Lowell Fillmore. Lowell was the oldest son of Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, and therefore he was one of the first generations to grow up with unity teaching. He went on to become a unity minister. He was also an administrator, an editor, and a teacher. At the end of this talk, Mr. Fillmore will give us 7 different affirmations to work with through the weeks. It has been my habit to read them very quickly and then very slowly. In your comments, you have asked me not to do that. If you want to write them down, you can just stop the video and write down the affirmation and go on to the next one. So this is a little change in our readings of Lowell Fillmore. Wanted to give you a heads up. I think you're going to love this lesson. I always enjoy Mr. Fillmore's teaching style. I envision him as kind of a cowboy in his wisdom. Let me know in the comments what you think. Here we go. Grace and Karma, a lesson by Lowell Fillmore. Remember that the law of cause and effect is always operating in every man's life. Even though it is often difficult to see the relation between a cause and its effect because of the long time that may elapse between them, or because the particular effect does not seem to be related to the apparent cause. There are also negative as well as positive causes. Sometimes things happen because something else was not done. Neglect is a negative cause that brings a train of uncertain, unprofitable results. For instance, if your garden is left uncultivated for a time, grass, thistles, and various weeds may spring up in it, but there is no particular kind of weed that always follows neglect of a garden. Different localities have different kinds of weeds. So it is with neglect of prayer in our life. A variety of troublesome results may manifest themselves. There are sins of omission as well as sins of commission. The blind man who was healed by Jesus had not sinned, nor had his parents sinned. But Jesus explained that his condition was an opportunity for the glory of God to be made manifest. The man had not committed a definite sin, but he had not raised his faith in God to the point where God could heal him. No person is perfect in all respects, but everyone has abundant opportunity to improve himself so that he can live a more abundant life that God has prepared for all of those who will accept it. We cannot point to any definite sins committed by many of the good, peaceable people who suffered the dire consequences of war. We must realize that just being peaceable and good in a negative way is not enough to guarantee us the full protection that we need. We must be good and peaceable, but we must also be positive and understanding in our faith in God's omnipresent power to protect us. Of course, God does not send trouble upon anyone, for he loves all his children. But men who are ignorant of God break the law and so bring trouble upon themselves. They also harm innocent men, those whose faith in God is not firmly established. Those who place God first in all they think and do, and who feel his presence within them in spirit and in truth, are protected from the evils that ignorant men bring upon themselves and their passive neighbors. If a person has done something wrong, even in a past incarnation, he can be freed from the effects by the grace of God. God's forgiving love is the greatest power on earth today. And when it is permitted to work freely in a man, it wipes out the remembrance of all evil from his life and restores his soul to peace and happiness. God's love is always ready to help every man to be forgiven for his past mistakes. But first, the man must forgive every other man towards whom he feels ill will before the power of God's love can operate freely in his life. If you will forgive everyone towards whom you have any bad feelings and ask God to forgive you, he will do it. And his love will set you free from all the mistakes you made in the past. God's love is always ready to express itself through you when you cooperate with love by practicing love in your thoughts, words, and deeds. Jesus said the greatest commandment is that you love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. When you love God in this way, you will become better acquainted with his power and love, and you will open the way for his love to do mighty works in and through you. The psalmist has expressed the idea in these wonderful words. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. The good works that we do today are like good seed and will produce good fruits for us later. Although these good works may not be just the same kind as those we first performed, for goodness has a host of pleasant ways of bearing fruit. The good harvest may come in the form of peace of mind or joy, or perhaps of worldly goods. When we cast our bread of good works upon the waters of experience in the consciousness that we are working for God, our substance will return to us, perhaps after many days, and it will be increased by the power of God's love. We cannot always know God's law, how God's law works for us in every detail, but we can be sure that good deeds and thoughts always bring good, and that whatever that word is, negativeness begats negativeness. That's not quite what it says, but it's what it means. And that the fruits of these things always have their inception in the hearts of men. Grace becomes manifest in our life when we dwell in the secret place of the Most High, and there become acquainted with God's forgiving love. God is always generous and understanding, sending good results into the life of those who have faith in his omnipresent goodness. God is the first cause back of all things that are good. The things that are evil are caused by man's misunderstanding and misapplication of God's good things. God is always willing to forgive men for their mistakes in misusing his good things when they are willing to become loving, forgiving, and peaceable. So there is our lesson for today. Now I'm going to go through the affirmations. I'll share them with you and then pause in case you want to stop and write them down. Here we go. Standing firmly upon my faith in God's infinite power, I am protected and blessed in all my ways. Number 2. All memory and all effects of my past mistakes are wiped away by the grace of God's love when I enter into it fully, spirit, soul, and body. Number 3. I have faith that God's love is more powerful than all the negative forces of evil in the world. Number 4, I am dwelling in the secret place of the Most High, and I am abiding under the shadow of the Almighty. Number 5, as I freely forgive everyone who has wronged me, I open the way for the forgiving power of God's love to set me free from condemnation. Number 6, I am protected by the power of God's love because I believe in it and practice it. And our final affirmation on this lesson, I am willing to become small in my own personality so that God can increase me. I love that. Okay, that was the lesson on grace and karma as written and spoken by Lowell Fillmore. We hope you've enjoyed this Foundation Friday production. And we would love to have your comments, your thoughts, your suggestions. Every comment is replied to. Thank you for being with us. But before you go, please know you matter. You are sacred. And you are so, so very loved. Namaste.
Thank you for joining us, and let's stay connected and grow in spirit. We are on Facebook. Search for Unity Church of El Cajon and follow us and like our posts. You can reach us on YouTube at Unity Church of El Cajon. Please subscribe to our channel, watch our videos, and leave comments which can help us improve. We are on the web at unityofelcajon.org. Email or call our church office to receive our weekly newsletters, which lists all of our activities and opportunities to learn and grow together.